I just want to highlight something that you just said because, we as people in this space who have some sort of a business, either authors, podcasters, whatever, we talk constantly about the importance of community, right? And how important that is to your sober journey. And it's so funny that we go and say that, and yet we ourselves, are lacking that community within just our business. And so I think that's where this all came about from. It's like community is important no matter what aspect you're looking at it from any aspect of life, right? You want to work out, go find a community of people who like to do the same exercise you do. You want to learn how to draw, like go find a community. It doesn't matter. And so I think within the sober community, we already had those communities ourselves within our sober journey, but we didn't have that community from an entrepreneurial standpoint and trying to grow our sober businesses.
Welcome to the Sober Edge podcast, inspiration for alcohol-free living. I'm your host, Terry Patterson, functional nutritionist and This Naked Mind senior coach. The Sober Edge is a place to explore the infinite possibilities on the other side of drinking. In a culture soaked in booze, discover the wonder and joy of taking a different path. Meet real people living lives of purpose and passion. Learn the truth behind the alcohol myths and get ready to be motivated, inspired, and astounded by what is possible with the Sober Edge. Well, hey, everyone, it's Terry back with another edition of the Sober Edge podcast. And this is a little bit of a departure today because I have my friend and collaborative partner, Maggie Klaassens here, and we are going to talk about our joint venture called the Sober Hive. So Maggie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again, Terry. This is me. This is my second time I get to be on your podcast. So thank you for having me.
Yes, we don't have too many repeat guests, but Maggie and I are off to a new venture together, and it's really something that we are passionate about. And today, we're going to kind of share with you what the Sober Hive is all about and how it might be exactly what you're looking for in your alcohol-free journey. So Maggie, tell us a little bit about how the Sober Hive came to be.
Yeah. So Terry and I met at a Sober in the City event in Portland, Maine, which was my first time attending the event. I think you had been to a couple. And here I was really outside my comfort zone, actually. And I think that's kind of funny because I was so excited to go on this weekend trip alone to experience a sober weekend with other sober people in the space. And the moment I got there, I thought, oh my gosh, I just want to go home. Just was so outside my comfort zone. But of course, the sober community is amazing. And the moment you step into a room with other alcohol-free people, you automatically have this connection with them because you all share the same common value. And so we met in a breakout session that you were running on collaboration and new ideas. And I think we immediately kind of hit it off of saying, okay, I think we should do something together. So I, of course, run the Sober Summit, which is an online 3-day event, which brings together about 24 speakers. And in doing that, I've had the joy, really, of being able to interview some incredible people in the sober community, authors, podcasters, coaches, experts, influencers. And I really loved learning from them and getting a chance to connect with them. So once the Sober Summit's over, though, you kind of lose that connection. I can't keep up with all of these people. And so really the idea was born because I think you felt the same way. You've been able to connect with a lot of people and business owners in this space, but really trying to find a way that we could bring this together, a community together, so that people across different niches within the sober community could connect, collaborate, and we could help grow our businesses together. Because I truly believe, and I know you do too as well, that if we can help grow each other's businesses, we can only help move this sober movement farther, faster. And if you are a success, then that means I'm a success too. And so it's really about community and helping each other grow each other's businesses.
Yeah, what Maggie doesn't recall is that I did confess to her that I was kind of stalking her. Because anybody that runs a summit, and if you want to go back, I'll link it in the show notes to the first episode where Maggie and I talked about the Sober Summit, which was the holiday edition. And there'll be another one coming out September 2024. But I was so impressed because it takes a huge amount of work and background work to put on a summit. There are an incredible amount of moving parts. And so I knew that she was someone who really had a passion for this business and had a very professionally packaged delivery method. And so I knew that, you had some of the skills that I don't come by so naturally. So what you really highlighted there, though, Maggie, that I think is so beautiful is that when we are on this alcohol-free journey as individuals, we recognize that importance of community. And you mentioned that when you went to your first Sober in the City event, wow, it was the community that drew you in. And what I had felt for quite a while, having been an alcohol freedom coach for 5 years now, I had felt like that community piece was missing for those of us that are serving the alcohol-free client. So anyone who is in the business of serving the sober community or the alcohol-free community, I really was looking for a while. How do we draw these people together? How do we support one another? And as you said, that then impacts the entire alcohol-free community. It makes it for the individual that they have more supportive people who are growing businesses. There are more beverages out there. There's more events. There's more opportunity to feel like we are a part of something where we all belong. So I think that was always in the back of my mind. And of course, I zeroed right in on Maggie. And it's been so much fun to kind of bring this vision to life. So how do you think it's going, Maggie, in the Sober Hive?
I love it. I love everything about it. It has been really great. And I think I just want to highlight something that you just said because we as people in this space who have some sort of a business, either authors, podcasters, whatever, we talk constantly about the importance of community, right? And how important that is to your sober journey. And it's so funny that we go and say that, and yet we ourselves, are lacking that community within just our business. And so I think that's where this all came about from. It's like community is important no matter what aspect you're looking at it from any aspect of life, right? You want to work out, go find a community of people who like to do the same exercise you do. You want to learn how to draw, like go find a community. It doesn't matter. And so I think within the sober community, we already had those communities ourselves within our sober journey, but we didn't have that community from an entrepreneurial standpoint and trying to grow our sober businesses. And so, yeah, I think it's going great. It is so much fun. Every time we have a call and we get feedback. So, we just had a connection call, which we have once a week, where we just get on the phone together and talk. You can bring ideas, you can ask questions, you can share wins, whatever it is. It's just this time that we get together. And, we had a member afterwards going, gosh, I feel so energized every time I get off these calls. And it's just like, that's why we're doing it, right? That type of feedback and the motivation, inspiration that I even get from other members. It's going, wow, look what you're doing. We had a member name 3 podcasts that they were scheduled to be on. And I'm going, look at her go. She didn't have that a month ago. That's amazing. I can't take full credit for it, but I hope that we play a part of it. I hope that we help motivate, inspire her to go out and put herself out there so that she can help grow her business. So,
yes, I too am in love with the Sober Hive. It's been so much fun, and it really energizes me because as a solopreneur, we feel like we are head down working on our business, and put on the Sober Summit and you maybe get feedback from people. But sometimes, in a traditional role as a coach or somebody who's showing up on Instagram and offering content and trying to inspire other people to check out this alcohol-free life, or as a podcaster, our voice is out there in the world, but we're not sure we're creating an impact. And so sometimes it can feel like, is this really working? And when we come together in a business community, we can really encourage one another, give each other really tactical feedback, because in other business communities that aren't devoted to the alcohol-free client, we have maybe a different outcome or a different mission. And so I think for you talk with such passion about serving this community. And I also feel very passionate about it. And so for those of you listening in, you might be thinking, well, I'm not an alcohol-free business owner. I don't serve the alcohol-free client or the sober community, but I want to just share kind of why I think this conversation is relevant for all of us. And Maggie, I also want you to talk about the Thought Leader Conference we did together in Tampa, Florida, because that really highlights this. But what I have found in my business is that as we become alcohol free, we often think, wow, I want to give back in some way. I want to be a part of this movement. I feel so passionate about the changes that I have created in my own life. And I have found a lot of my clients go on to create something new and maybe explore becoming a mocktail event planner. Maybe they study to be an alcohol-free coach, a life coach. And so we wanted to create something for those of you that are thinking, well, if I got into this business, how do I get the support that I need? Where do I start? And that's one of the things where I think this overlaps for all of us. And I want you to talk a little bit, Maggie, next about what happened in Tampa, because I think it really speaks to we all have an opportunity, whether you create a monetary business and you feel like you are an entrepreneur, or whether you are a passionate individual who wants to help this alcohol-free movement move forward. What are the opportunities there, Maggie?
Oh, we had such a great discussion in Tampa. I was on a high after that session. So Terry and I had attended the next Sober in the City event, which was in Tampa, Florida this past February. And Terry and I did a co-collaborating event on collaboration, right? We were collaborating on the Sober Hive, so it just made sense for us to lead this session on collaboration, and, being a lighthouse in the community and ways that you can support the alcohol-free movement, whether you are a business owner in the space or not. So what was really fun about that conversation was it wasn't just, you know, posting about it on social media or and sharing your story, which are obvious ones and great ones to start with. But it's like, how can you support other people in this space? Like, can you like someone's post? Can you comment on someone's post? Can you share someone's post? But it went farther than that. It was like, how do I bring an alcohol-free beverage to the next book club and that I'm attending? That has nothing to do with that, the alcohol-free space. But how can I just put myself out there a little bit and show someone, maybe a different way? How can I show up authentically and just live my life and be a lighthouse for my friends and family? Or, it went as far as like, maybe I do host an alcohol-free mocktail night for my girlfriends and just show them all the amazing beverages. We also talked about in the business setting, in the corporate setting, like, how do we share our stories and the benefit of being alcohol free as it relates to how you show up at work, and are you showing up the way that you want to on Monday morning after you spent the weekend, drinking? And so I don't have all the the ideas that we shared in that on the top of my head, but man, it was a great conversation. And I feel like the feedback we got during that conversation was exactly what I wanted to see. It was, wow, I just have so many new ideas of how I personally can help this movement, even if I'm not an author or a podcaster or a coach yet. And I think you hit it right on the head in saying that you get to a point in your sober journey where you're going, I want to give back in some way. This is a secret superpower I now have that everybody should know about. And what is it? How do I want to show up? And there are definitely so many ways you can do that without being a business owner. But I also feel like there is enough room in this space for anyone who wants to show up as an alcohol-free coach, to tell their story through writing a book, to share it on a podcast. There are so many ways that you can, help in this space. It's endless, really.
Yeah, thank you for that. I felt the same way too. And some of the other ideas that I recall was just like you can buy a author's book. You could host a book signing if the author is someone local to you. And, just a way to support the entrepreneurs that are in this space, because they are all of us, you and I included, Maggie, but the greater they, we are not in competition with one another. We are all trying to support this movement because we recognize that this business for us is passion driven, mission driven, and usually lifestyle driven. And so, often, like, I don't know about you, Maggie, but I was a secretary in a school, a public school.
I
I
was
didn't,
not.
yeah, but I was not, I mean, in my job, my day job before I became an alcohol freedom coach and podcaster, I was not, mission driven, passionate driven, lifestyle driven. I didn't live and breathe, the Nevada Union miners. That wasn't my thing. And so we sometimes forget that when we do have this passion bubbling up, we can take action in simple ways and we can explore what does it feel like to be a part of this movement. So I think the Sober in the City events that you and I both love and our good friends, Peggy Cooney and Susie Streelman, have created and continue to offer is a great example of how this blending of the alcohol-free entrepreneur and the alcohol-free individual can come together and connect and support one another. And so let's talk a little bit more specifically about the Sober Hive. So we have created an online membership community where we have invited anyone who has a business in the alcohol-free space. So we've talked about podcasters, authors, coaches, event coordinators, or experience leaders. Am I missing anyone?
Product developers. So people who are, there's so many alcohol-free options out there and more popping up every day. So yeah, we've got space for them as well. Influencers. Yeah, I think that's all of them. But I mean, and we're welcome to. I'm sure new niches are going to pop up in this space. But yeah, we have a space for everyone to kind of get together. And the way that the community is structured is, we have a general discussion area where we all talk and provide feedback and encourage each other and support each other. But we also have those sub niches for those different groups. So if you are a podcaster, you have a separate space to talk just about podcasting. Same with the authors and the coaches, etc. But I think, can I share my favorite part of the Hive?
Yes, please.
Okay. So my favorite part is the collaboration corner. And this is really where it gets good because, there are a lot of communities out there that are just for coaches. And it is a great space for them. But I think where the true power of us coming together is through the cross collaboration. And so the collaboration corner is an area where you can ask for something you need or offer something you have. And so an example, I have a book I just wrote, which isn't true, but this is just an example. I have a book I just wrote. I'm an author and I need help promoting it. And so you can post about it in the collaboration corner and people can say, great, I'd love to read your book. I'd love to post about it on my social media. I'd love to send an email out about it to my subscribers. And then alternatively, if you have something, like a referral, I have a client that I can't support right now and I'm looking for another coach to take them on, right? These are just examples of ways that we can cross collaborate. If a podcaster is looking for someone to speak on anxiety and alcohol, does anyone know of anyone or is anyone in this community able to speak on that topic. And so it's not just the cross collaboration within the community, but the referrals of outside resources as well. So we've got a lot of tech questions like what do people use for their website or their e-commerce store, that sort of thing, and sharing resources as well. So I really love the cross collaboration. I feel like that's the way that we truly can help each other is by working together.
I have an example of a win that I don't think I've shared yet with you, Maggie. So I had one of our members has a writing workshop that she offers. And so she had come into the collaboration corner and said, if anybody would like to share about my writing workshop, here are the details. And I just heard from a client that she is enrolled in that writing workshop, and she was talking about how much she loves it. So that connection was made directly through the Sober Hive and this philosophy that we have about promoting the opportunity to champion your fellow, your colleague in this space, and also ultimately serve that client.
Yes, and that's the thing is you're not only helping the other business owner, but you're providing content and resources for your clients or your audience. And that's it only makes you show up as the hero too, right? It's like you're providing a service maybe that you don't have, somebody else has, and it's ultimately, to your point, helping your audience or your client.
Yes. And so one of my favorite parts of the Sober Hive is the brainstorming sessions, because I always have lots of brainstorming ideas, and I love to get my fingers and eyes inside someone else's business and help them see some of the things that maybe they could be focusing on that might actually move the needle or, create the outcome they're looking for. It comes really easily to me. And so it's so much fun to have an opportunity to help somebody, and we all help one another, just really brainstorm in the true sense of the word about maybe a new offer or a new opportunity. And it's been so much fun to all come together and really have tangible takeaways from this type of work that we can do together within the community of the Sober Hive.
Terry, you're the best at that, by the way. But everybody loves to share like their take on someone else's business. I'd love to tell people what to do with their business. Right. Like, here, you should do this. And again, they're just suggestions. They're just maybe something you haven't thought about. But I really do think people come away with that going, gosh, that was just so great to get other people's perspective and ideas that I didn't think about on how to do this and do it well.
We also have co-working sessions that we offer, and they've been so popular that we added a few to the calendar because our members asked. So one of the fun things is that Maggie and I are in this community with our members, and we are looking for what works for all of us. And so in response to the popularity of the co-working sessions, we added a few more. Tell us what a co-working session is for those who might not know, Maggie.
I was going to say, maybe a lot of people, the members didn't know. They're like, what is this? So really the co-working session is a chance for us to have its focus time. So we have an hour, we all come to the call, we let each other know what our priorities are and what we're going to work on for the next 50 minutes. We set a timer. Everybody keeps their camera on, but they turn their volume off, their speakers off, and you just work. You can take phone calls. You can, I don't know, you can schedule your next podcast, you can write a book, whatever it is you're working on. And it's really that focus time. And it's so funny because I get more done in that session than I do the entire rest of the day. Cause it's like just this time I'm like dedicated to doing those things I just told the other members I was going to do, and I get them done. And then all of a sudden, we come back and we share what we got done. And it is amazing how much you can get done in that space. So I think it is really popular because people see the value in it of, hey, I can actually grow my business just by spending this next hour with these people. And then you feel like you're not alone. You're not working alone, because it can be lonely and isolating sometimes working in this space. And so being able to share it in like a we work type setting, there's a lot of value to it.
Yes, it's one of those things that we all say, I'm going to set aside an hour and get X done. But then many of us work in a home office. And so we're doing this maybe as a side hustle, maybe in the nooks and crannies, and we've got a little bit of time and something else comes into that time. One of our family members needs something, or there's an interruption, and it's so easy to leave and not get back to the task. And so this dedicated time is if you were at an office and you close the door and you really get to focus. And it's been very powerful for me as well. And yeah, our members are really enjoying that. The other thing that we've been having a lot of fun with, Maggie, is connecting with some experts in the field who can support the things that we are doing as solopreneurs in this space. And I think if you are an entrepreneur in this space, you recognize that there's no playbook. And so we spend a lot of time, at least I know I have, and I'm no longer as much time with the Hive, but spend a lot of time like Googling things on our own or following up leads or, going down the rabbit hole of listening to a free training and wondering if that's the next direction. And what we have been able to do is, and it's been so much fun to connect with some of these experts, we've been able to kind of cherry pick some experts who really are supportive with these basic steps that we all need in this type of business, this online business. Sometimes, though, we have physical businesses, so it's not just online space. But tell us about some of the trainings, Maggie, and who's shown up and what some of the feedback's been from our members.
Yeah. So the very first one was Marisa Corcoran, who's an expert copywriter. She came in and boy, did she set the bar high. I mean, it was just amazing. I think we've had a couple members join her society from that call, but she came in to really do a live workshop on narrowing down who our niche is, right? And I think a lot of the times too, we think, oh, we're supporting the alcohol free or the sober curious. Yeah, but who within that community, and really figuring out who your target audience is and how do you speak to them. And so that was a really powerful one. And then we had Mariana Henninger, who is an award-winning documentary filmmaker. And she did Casey McGuire Davidson's brand video. And so I had been following her for a while after seeing that. And it was so amazing to have her come in and show the power of a 2 to 4 minute video. And I mean, it's not that long, but being able to really connect with your audience through video, right? We understand, the power of video from a social media perspective. This is kind of taking it to a new level and really showcasing who you are, what you represent, and how you help people through a brand video. So that was amazing. We've got Julia, who's the podcast teacher, coming up. So again, just trying to figure out how podcasting can help you, whether you host your own podcast or whether you pitch to be on podcasts. It's valuable, right? To get your story out there and get who you are out there. And then the last one, if you want to talk about who you have coming on in August.
Yeah, so we've invited Sophia Para, and she is a marketing expert. And so one of the things as entrepreneurs, you can not, maybe in the beginning, you're not sure where you can get the most bang for your buck. Like, should I be spending time building my email list? Should I be spending time doing challenge events? Should I be hosting meetups to meet people that might be clients? And so there's a lot of ways to build a business. And what Sophia is going to do is she's going to help us narrow down some of those choices and help us really come up with just the top 3 things. And they might look a little different for each individual, but the top 3 things that can really move the needle in our business. And she's an expert at this. So I'm very excited.
I'm super excited. Yeah. And we've gotten really great feedback. I mean, I think after the first one, one of the members came back and said, this was worth the cost of the membership. It was just so valuable. So they're always one of my favorites too. So every month we host them and people can come into the Hive. Those who have missed them can watch the replay. Those will always be available. And we'll take recommendations too. If someone's looking for a specific topic that they're having a hard time with, Terry and I will go out and find the best person to come in and do a live workshop. And also the value with the live workshop is being able to ask them questions. And I find that, it's great to watch the replay, but to be able to ask someone a question specific to your business is so powerful.
Yes, yes. So we are going to continue to offer those on a monthly basis. And in fact, on the heels of some of those calls, we've actually had, something sparked up, and the members say, can we get together and have a conversation of how to implement what we learned in that training? Can we hold each other accountable? Can we put some actions in place to build on that new knowledge? And that is the power of a community, because I don't know about you, Maggie, but I love to learn. And so my inbox is filled with opportunities to go learn more about YouTube videos, to learn how to run a live challenge, to get better at my webinars. And I might go and take advantage of one of those, which is awesome. But without the accountability and the initiative, sometimes I don't follow through on all of it. So when we come together with these tactical workshops and then we follow up with implementation steps, that is the magic of community in action, is really being able to see the fruits of that time spent.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And that's why I love it so much. So, yeah, everyone and the members are so amazing. I think it's fun because some of them have known each other, others it's brand new and they're meeting new people in the space. And what is so fun is to watch two people who've never met collaborate. And I'm going,
Yes.
this is the power of the Sober Hive.
Yes, we've got a member offering a workshop, not a workshop, a retreat coming up this fall. And she and another member realized they live very close to one another. So the member said, I could come and help with your retreat. Let me know what you need. We live really close. And so you're right. This is how the community takes on a life of its own. And that is the power of the culture that we're building and the members that we're inviting in. And it speaks to this passion-driven, mission-filled entrepreneurship that I think the members have. It's something different. We're not buying a franchise and, opening up a burger joint. It's more than that for us. And there's nothing wrong with that if you're in the franchise industry. But like I said, this place where we live and grow our business from is a little bit different than most or many entrepreneurs.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, it's just been so much fun. I'm so grateful to have you as a partner because it's just been so fun to work with you. And like you said at the very beginning, we have different skill sets, so we complement each other very well. And it's just been such a great project to work on. And we've got lots of ideas of how to grow it even further, which is so fun. So Terry and I meet on a weekly basis and we're like, what more can we do? And we ask the members, right? To your point, we want this to be also community led. So getting the feedback from the community and understanding what they want to see in it. So it's going to be a really fun ride. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, we just opened the doors in the first part of April, so we're just a few months in, and we are going to be launching a networking event. Don't have all the details yet, but this will be for the wider community of entrepreneurs in the alcohol-free space and business owners in the alcohol-free space to come and network, because really at the root of this is networking. And this is how we support one another and grow together. So we'll be sharing more details as that comes out. But we would like to invite you, if you are an entrepreneur or business owner in the alcohol-free space, or considering becoming one, please come and take a look at the Hive. We think we've created something really special. The price point is probably going to be, is going to wow you, because we created a price point that we think is a no-brainer, because we deserve as entrepreneurs to have a space that is rich with opportunity, but doesn't break the bank. So, Maggie, how can people find out more about the Sober Hive?
Yeah, so I think there's two ways. One is just go to the website, the soberhive.com. The other is get in touch with Terry and I. I think we have found that being able to connect with people who are interested in the Sober Hive and have conversations with them, I personally love doing it. And I get to understand what they're looking for in a community and help them understand how the Sober Hive can benefit them. And so, reach out to us. I'm Maggie at thesoberhive.com. Terry's Terry, Teri at thesoberhive.com, and we're happy to get on a call and we'll do a little coffee chat and, just help answer any questions you have and see if the Sober Hive is a right fit for you.
Yeah, I love that. And one of the things that having these conversations and having this type of community, even if someone doesn't join the Sober Hive, you and I are creating. I feel like when you look at one of those maps, and the connections light up over here and over here and over here and over here, and this is what it feels like to me. Like you and I. With the launch of the Sober Hive, we are starting to make so many more connections. And we want to connect with you, even if you're just curious about the Sober Hive. So thank you for that, Maggie. It's been so much fun to tell, people more about the Hive and talk with you about the things we love about the Sober Hive. And we're going to keep sharing from time to time here in the Sober Edge podcast. And you can find us. We have an Instagram account. And again, you can find us at thesoberhive.com. I'll link everything in the show notes. Thank you so much, my beautiful friend, for being here.
Oh my gosh, thank you for being you. This is so much fun. And yeah, thanks for having me on and for being such a great partner.
I want to thank you for tuning in to the Sober Edge podcast. This is a place for important conversations and a safe place to question everything you thought you knew about drinking. If you're looking for your sober edge, I want to invite you to connect with me at thesobernutritionist.com, where you can grab my free resource, Becoming More, a guide to loving your sober life. And I would be so grateful if you enjoyed this podcast, if you would leave a rating and review, as it will help more people find their sober edge.